Magandang umaga po. It's past 10 o'clock. The joint hearing on proposed Senate resolution numbers 826 and 1114 is hereby called to order. Lubos tayong nakikiramay at nakikisimpatiya sa mga pamilya ng mga nasawi at nasaktan na magigiting nakawal ng PNP SAF sa Sapano, Maguindanao. So may we invite everyone to please rise as we offer a moment of silent prayer for the repose of the souls of our SAF policemen who were slaughtered in that incident in Maguindanao on January 25. Maraming salamat po. Okay, so may we call on the Director General to place on record the presence of our guests, witnesses, and resource persons. And also, please place on record those who have been subpoenaed and yet not present today.
Your Honor, may I proceed? Those who are present right now are Attorney Teresita J. Herbosa, Chairperson of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Attorney Hinares of the BIR is not here, but she is represented by Mr. James Roldan. Ms. Julia Bakay Abad, OIC of AMLAC, had been invited, but she sent a letter that she is on official business in Cebu. Also present are Attorney Vigilio Mendez of the National Bureau of Investigation, Attorney Darlene Marie Berberabe, President and CEO of Pagibig, Attorney Wenceslao Avisado, Assistant Secretary, Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, HADSI, Mr. Rizal Pangilinan, Secretary General of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines, Mr. Elmer Castro, Mr. Gilberto Garcia, Ms. Sara Mendoza, Mr. Mario Oreta, Mr. J. Sangalang, and Mr. Ireneo Sioson. The following have sent excuse letters. Chairperson Maria Gracia Pulido-Tan of COA, Ms. Abad of AMLAC, Mr. Enrique Lagdameo, National Treasurer of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines, Engineer Robert Henson, and Mr. Efren Canlas of Hillmark. They have sent excuse letters that they have previous engagements. Mr. Tomas Lopez, who previously sent a letter committing to attend, but now has sent an excuse letter from his lawyer saying that he will not be able to attend. Mr. Roberto Ongpin has been sent an invitation, but he sent a letter saying that he is in South America currently. Those are the names, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director General. And can you please administer the oath to our first-time witnesses?
Well, those are here for the first time. Kindly stand. And those are here for the first time. Kindly stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? Thank you. You may take your seats.
So all the rest are testifying under the same oath. Senator Trillanes, we have here present before us Attorney Berberabe of Pagibig. Do we have questions for her?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. But before that, since Mr. Tomas Lopez committed the last time that he will attend, and now he gave us another letter, so I move that we cite for contempt Mr. Tomas Lopez. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I have no choice but to really grant your motion because he actually misled us in the last meeting of the Mother Committee with a signed letter. So he's not here today. So I will follow procedure and recommend again that Professor Tomas Lopez be cited in contempt for a graver act this time.
Yes. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, may I inquire about the status of Mr. Jerry Limlingan and Mr. Laureano Gregorio? Mr. Chairman.
Okay, this is the procedure that we have consistently followed. Those who have defied the orders of the subcommittee, including the subpoenas that we have issued, we first give them show cause orders why they should not be cited in contempt. And then if some respond and some do not, but even those who respond, we look at their reasoning, and if they are not the grounds that they cite or the arguments that they advance are not meritorious, then we cite them for contempt. We recommend that they be cited for contempt. So in the case of Mr. Laureano Gregorio, we are now in the show cause order stage, together with Mr. Jerry Limlingan. But they are in different situations. Mr. Laureano Gregorio, we know his place of residence and we have served the subpoena. In the case of Mr. Limlingan, we have served his subpoenas to different addresses. Hence, in one of our hearings, the subcommittee deemed that Mr. Limlingan has received his subpoena. Therefore, he was ordered to show cause why he should not be cited in contempt. So we are at that stage. But before we proceed with your question to Attorney Berberabe, we have here our NBI Director Mendez. Because the subcommittee asked the assistance of the NBI in locating Mr. Jerry Limlingan. And may we get your report, Mr. NBI Director Mendez?
Good morning, sirs. On October 27, the Bureau received your letter dated October 20, requesting the office to serve the subpoena on the following persons: Jerry Limlingan Jr., Gerardo, Miss Lichnok, and Irene Chong, Kemser Chong, Aimee Chong, Iris Chong, Kim Chong, and Erlinda Chong. Now, on the following day, that was October 28, our team was directed to serve the subpoena to the given addresses. And on October 28, in the afternoon at about 4:45, we submitted a return of the service of the subpoena to the office of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee with the information that the persons that was mentioned in the subpoena was not contacted. The details of the service of the subpoena, Your Honor, is mentioned in that report that we have submitted to your office, dated October 28, to be exact, signed by the undersigned, Your Honor.
Thank you, NBI Director. Anyway, that is only for the record because the subcommittee already decided that since we have given multiple copies of the subpoena for Jerry Limlingan at all his known addresses, the subpoenas have been deemed served. So we are past that stage already. So he has now been ordered to show cause why he should not be cited for contempt. So any other questions for the NBI Director?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Let me just inform the NBI Director that according to the testimony of Attorney Berberabe, Mr. Jerry Limlingan is a consultant of the HADC and among other government agencies. So maybe we can monitor the people close to Mr. Jerry Limlingan, particularly the Vice President. I'm sure they meet regularly or from time to time, so we can better track his movements from there. Just an advice, NBI Director. Thank you.
Yes, sir, we'll do that.
Attorney Berberabe, are you a member of the HADC?
The Pagibig Fund is a member of the HADC, so HADC would have a quarterly meeting where
You are the
all-
representative of Pagibig Fund
Of
in the
Pag-ibig,
HADSI.
yes.
HADSI is a council,
It's
di
a
ba?
council,
You are the
coordinating
representative.
council, yes.
And you mentioned in the last hearing that Mr. Jerry Limlingan is a consultant of the HADSI.
Yes, Your Honor.
So how is he able to perform his duties as a consultant if he is always in hiding?
Your Honor, when this subcommittee requested me to relay also to HUDSI to get the contact address, so the HUDSI sent to me a response stating the address on record, which I will submit later. But also based on information from the HUDSI, the technical consultancy was from August 2010 to 30 September 2014. So, medyo consistent po dun sa hindi na rin siya nag-appear sa HUDSI and in the meetings.
As far as you know, sino ba nag-testify sa Omni? Is Jerry Limlingan already now in the papers of Omni, SEC papers of Omni, a director or an officer? Who knows about this? Because if that is the case, then since you still have a contract with Omni as a consultant, di ba? So you're dealing with a company led by someone who is in hiding.
Your Honor, we have the GIS of Omni, and his name does not appear in the GIS.
That's an allegation.
Yes.
That he's the front of somebody. Okay. So thank you for bringing us the address. Anyway, that's the address appearing on his consultancy contract. Okay. So NBI Director, thank you very much for your cooperation. But the request for your assistance in locating these people is still there. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, NBI Director. You're free to go. Yes.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. Senator Trillanes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Berberabe, up to this time, you're still not aware of the true owners of Omni. You're already being, what's the legal term? Judicial notice. Alam na yata ng buong Pilipinas, Attorney Berberabe.
Po, Mr. Senator, Your
Yes.
Honor, as I explained po last time, when we dealt with Omni, so we got our team got their papers, and nowhere in their documentation submitted
Yes.
can we find. So based on also our information from the Senate investigations, it remains an allegation, and because I'm also asked if I know, so I don't know that po, and in fact I haven't heard of any evidence pointing to it,
Yes, ma'am.
except for the allegation.
Siguro before that was understandable, but you mentioned that every 4 months you renew their contract. So ngayon sinasabihan na kayo na may sabihin na lang natin probable conflict of interest because of the owners are alleged to be dummies of the Vice President. So would you still insist on renewing their contract, Attorney Berberabe?
Pursuant din po to your recommendation in the last hearing that Senator Cayetano asked us to confer with the GTPB. So ginawa po namin yon, nakipag-usap kami po sa GTPB so that we can confirm on what is the best way to handle the bidding. So naunawaan po ng GTPB yung aming sitwasyon on the trust and confidence, and we have agreed that we will renew it on a month-to-month, and then i-bid out na po para mawala na lang yung appearance of non-bidding or non-regular bidding.
Okay. This is actually a friendly advice to the President of Pagibig, because it will appear that you continuously favor the Omni Security Agency as recommended by the Vice President. So it's time to rectify that situation. Okay? Yes. Now,
Your
Yes.
Your Honor, I have agreed po to to talking with the GPPB, so that's our next step. Pero gusto ko rin lang po na ma-reiterate ulit na kung favored at favored lamang po, I would like to reiterate the disqualification of Omni in the much bigger contract, which is the 193 million. So kung
Yes.
corruption po ang ating iniisip, saan po kaya ang mas pagkakakitaan kung totoo po na talagang favoritism
Pero
ang
Panyera, if you look at SCRA, kawawa naman yung mga municipal treasurers sa Mindanao, 2,000 pesos, kulong. Your contract with Omni is 5.7 in 4 years. So, fair is fair. I mean, kulong yung municipal treasurers. If you remember that case, di ba? I mean, kawawa, 2,000 pesos. Graft and corruption, kulong. So, 5.7, pasok pa rin.
So we have aligned with the GPBB on what is the best, but they did recognize po the difficulty of the situation and that we encountered in the determination of the.
But you mentioned that you mentioned that you looked at the GIS of Omni.
Yes.
Did you find out now that Irene Lopez is a director?
Yes.
And she's the
Yes.
wife of your Pagibig board
Okay.
member, Professor Tomas Lopez?
After po our hearing, because
Do you confirm it? Nakita mo?
nakita ko po, nakita
sandali
po,
lang.
Irene Lopez. And then, ang kanya pong information na ibinigay sa akin is that, yes, but they are legally separated and they have a judicial separation of property daw po. So, but I thought that he was also going to attend so that he could shed light on it.
Yes, but even through cursory examination, you're not privy at first about the marital status of this couple. It immediately supposed to be, it's a ground for disqualification. Isn't it, Attorney Berberabe?
At first po, hindi po siya apparent sa amin because it's Irene Lopez. So hindi po siya apparent. Kagaya po ng sinabi ko, nalaman lang po namin yung information when we were following also the Senate investigations.
Okay. Alam niyo, Attorney Berberabe, maraming nagsasabi na maayos kayo. Pero the way you continuously defend itong si Vice President Binay and yung Omni, napagsususpetsahan na talagang rubber stamp kayo dyan. But we will get to that later on.
Mr. Senator, I will defend lang po the truth and I will speak the truth.
Yes, pero yung Omni nga, it was shown, may nag-testify na former president ng Omni na sinasabi niya na may-ari nito is si Vice President Binay, hindi pa rin enough sa'yo yan. And it was, that testimony was, I think, as early as September. Pero nakapag-renew pa rin sa'yo ng kontrata. So, wala kang pakialam because it was recommended by the Vice President. Now, let me continue. Meron akong hiningi sa inyo mga list of documents, di ba? Yung list of, what's this? Yung mga security and janitorial services, contracts entered by Pagibig from year 2010 to present. Were you able to submit all of that?
Mr. Senator, I just got the subpoena duces tecum before this hearing po. So, I received a duces tecum last week. The documents have been submitted to this subcommittee. So, yung bago po, we just received a while ago.
Okay, but you commit to submit the same, Attorney Berberabe, in the interest of transparency kasi maraming humahanga sa inyo sa UP College of Law. So we'll have to show that you are, at least Pag-ibig is the paragon of transparency and accountability. Okay?
At consistently naman po ay ako'y
Yes,
nagsasabi na I will submit.
Okay, then we will just wait for those documents, Attorney Berberabe. So, the one that we subpoenaed last hearing, you're able to submit everything?
Opo,
Right,
kompleto
okay.
po. Opo,
Kompleto.
we've submitted.
So, I commend Attorney Berberabe for that. And ito na lang next list of documents, antayin po namin.
We will submit po.
Okay. I don't have anything else for the Pag-ibig, Chairman.
Can you wait for a while lang, Attorney Berberabe? Okay.
Yes, Mr.
How
Chair.
about the SEC is also here, Attorney Herbosa. You're here pursuant to a subpoena to bring documents, ma'am?
Good morning, Your Honors. Actually, it's a subpoena ad testificandum. And I don't have yet a list of the documents that you would wish us to submit. And although we're already preparing some that we think are relevant, if I could be given the complete list, we'll be able to submit right away.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll wait for Senator Cayetano, who may have questions for you. So let's suspend for a few minutes. Hearing suspended. Let's resume. Session resumed. For the purpose, we are resuming for the purpose of excusing Attorney Berberabe. There will be no more questions for you today. So, ma'am, so sa next hearing po. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so let us now suspend for a few minutes.
Proceed. Those who are present right now are Attorney Teresita J. Herbosa, Chairperson of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Attorney Hinares of the BIR is not here, but she is represented by Mr. James Roldan. Ms. Julia Bakay Abad, OIC of AMLAC, had been invited, but she sent a letter that she is on official business in Cebu. Also present are Attorney Vigilio Mendez of the National Bureau of Investigation, Attorney Darlene Marie Berberabe, President and CEO of Pagibig, Attorney Wenceslao Avisado, Assistant Secretary, Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, HADSI, Mr. Rizal Pangilinan, Secretary General of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines, Mr. Elmer Castro, Mr. Gilberto Garcia, Ms. Sara Mendoza, Mr. Mario Oreta, Mr. J. Sangalang, and Mr. Ireneo Sioson. The following have sent excuse letters. Chairperson Maria Gracia Pulido-Tan of COA, Ms. Abad of AMLAC, Mr.
Mindanao on January 25. Maraming salamat po. Okay, so may we call on the Director General to place on record the presence of our guests, witnesses, and resource persons. And also, please place on record those who have been subpoenaed and yet not present today.
Your Honor, may I Enrique Lagdameo, National Treasurer of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines, Engineer Robert Henson, and Mr. Efren Canlas of Hillmark. They have sent excuse letters that are previous engagements. Mr. Tomas Lopez, who previously sent a letter committing to attend, but now has sent an excuse letter from his lawyer saying that he will not be able to attend. Mr. Roberto Ongpin has been sent an invitation, but he sent a letter saying that he is in South America currently. Those are the names, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director General. And can you please administer the oath to our... Magandang umaga po. It's past 10 o'clock. The joint hearing on proposed Senate resolution numbers 826 and 1114 is hereby called to order. Lubos tayong nakikiramay at nakikisimpatiya sa mga pamilya ng mga nasawi at nasaktan na magigiting nakawal ng PNP SAF sa Mama Sapano, Maguindanao. So may we invite everyone to please rise as we offer a moment of silent prayer for the repose of the souls of our SAF policemen who were slaughtered in that incident in Maguindanao.